America's accountant, Dan Geltrude, certified public accountant, joins us now to discuss the economic impacts of Aaron. And Dan, how do storms like Aaron impact local economies, from hotels and restaurants to even suppliers?
Yeah, it could really be devastating. And you start off with the loss of those tourism dollars. So your hotels, restaurants, and small retail places are really going to feel that impact. But there's a long-term outlook here, too, in terms of you don't have those people potentially rebooking those trips, right? Because it just ends up being lost. And you do have tourism, and that people say, well, I'm a little hesitant to rebook this thing. So that's part of the problem. Now, if there is a silver lining, and I hate to say that, but in the long term, unfortunately, there's going to be damage. So what ends up happening is you do have recovery spending, which can boost the economy. The contractors and the trades have a tendency to benefit after these types of storms roll through.
So we just had somebody ask, we do this thing where we open up the floor and have viewers send in questions that we as meteorologists answer. Of course, one of the first questions that came in early this morning was, I've got a cruise booked on Thursday. I'm going from Jersey down into the Caribbean islands. And in cases like, that, and also Vision of the Seas rerouting, how do companies weigh the cost of last-minute changes against, say, the risk of staying on course?
Right. So the factors that these travel companies and cruise lines have to consider right off the bat is fuel costs and staffing and port fees when they have to reroute here. So there are short-term costs, but the number one issue here is passenger safety. So they need to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that their customers are safe and that they're going to avoid the negative headlines here. So some of those factors go to, well, what does insurance look like, and what type of legal liability do we have in making these decisions as far as rerouting our lines here for like Visions of the Sea?
Gotcha. My last question, what can small businesses maybe learn from some of these larger companies with stronger contingency and communication plans?
Well, to start off with, can't control the weather. However, you can control how you prepare and react to weather events. So right off the bat, these businesses have to look to make sure that they're properly insured, particularly related to flood, which causes so much damage. But small businesses, they have to have contingency plans. They have to communicate with their customers. They need to adapt quickly. And many times smaller businesses can adapt quickly just because they are smaller. They can get the word out more quickly using social media and other means. So it's a difficult situation to deal with, but preparation is always the key here, Nick.
Yeah, at the very least, the smaller businesses are much more nimble, so they definitely have that going for them right away. Hey, Dan, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick.